Now, the major news, aside from the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, has been the Irwin County Detention Center in Georgia, who had a nurse come forward as a whistleblower, Don Wooten, who is now saying that the private corporation LaSalle Corrections, who is running this particular migrant detention camp, is having a silent pandemic, as she called it, where running rampant behind prison bars are hysterectomies. That is a form of sterilization. She was the one who brought forward the information about the forced hysterectomies, and she was demoted in early July from working full-time to an on-call position for essentially raising a concern about it. Now, she says, according to her complaint, that a number of immigrant women are being reported as recommending hysterectomies. That remains the partial or full removal of the uterus by a particular gynecologist outside the facility. So this guy who doesn't even work there is recommending them. That's a little bit weird. Why you would do that? Take an outside, I guess, consultant in this case. But here's some more specific information. Everybody the gynecologist sees has a hysterectomy. Just about everybody. He's taken out even the wrong ovary of a young woman, a detained migrant woman, who was supposed to get her left ovary removed because she had a cyst on it, and then he took out the right one. She was upset. She had to go back out and have the left one, and she wound up with a total hysterectomy. She still wanted children, so she has to go back to her husband and tell her that she can't bear kids. She said she was not all the way out under anesthesia, and heard him, the doctor, telling the nurse that he took the wrong ovary. Now, in my opinion, aside from the horrible inhumanity of this, this is essentially forced sterilization. And they're reporting that some of the women didn't even know what they were getting into when they signed up for the procedure, or reluctantly even agreed. And some of them, it's even questioned whether or not they even agreed at all. I mean, this goes back into a whole huge line of eugenics. The United States and Canada also carry this out against Indigenous people, and it seems that this tradition is continuing right under the nose. And of course, the right wing is nowhere to be found, nowhere to say anything about this. They go on and on about their rights as individuals, yet here they are completely and utterly happy with the violation of rights of others. So they should say what they really are for. Their own rights, and they don't care about anybody else. They're not for human rights or individual rights. They're there for their rights. And that's pretty much it, is whatever they want, when they want, how they want, and that kind of hyper individualism that is most uniquely personified by America extends into a great deal of other things, like refusing to wear a mask. Everything is a conspiracy against them for some reason, because a viral outbreak can't actually be a viral outbreak. It must be something against them personally, or a plot against them. But here's another issue that, and you can link this to the Nazis and stuff that they carried out in the concentration camps, etc. But here's something that I did want to bring up. Now, I say this with no evidence whatsoever. This is only a feeling that I have. So I just want to make that clear first. I'm not claiming this to be true. I'm saying I suspect that this is true, and I have no hard evidence of it whatsoever. Now, we're aware that a whole ton of children, 1,300 children went missing, and, oops, we don't know where they are. In other words, those children were trafficked. They were literally sold, probably into prostitution, and I firmly believe that. Now, what about all these, now women's organs being taken out unnecessary? It could just be the straight-up eugenics part, or they could be selling the organs. If you're already willing to sell children into sex slavery, it's really not a jump that person would also be the kind of person that would sell organs. Of course, as I say, there was no evidence of this, but I would not put it past them to do it. And I suspect that they are doing it, particularly because it is a private institution. Now, some have suggested that trafficking uterine material is not a real thing, but in fact, it actually is. This raises important questions regarding the ethical challenges faced by those wishing to initiate a uterine transplant in low-income pronatalistic countries. The authors highlight the difficulties in translating uterine transplant into the context of developing nations such as Pakistan, where the incidence of UFI is high. Strong social pressures exist on women to reproduce, organ trafficking is rampant, and surrogacy and adoption are culturally unacceptable. So, this kind of organ trafficking very much does exist. This is a real thing that happens. It is a real problem around the world, and technically, mostly a problem faced by low-income people, also known as the Third World, or people locked in detention camps who aren't allowed to leave, that are being held indefinitely with no charge in what is essentially a concentration camp. I mean, I know a lot of intellectually challenged people like to say it's like a gulag, except that you didn't spend your whole life in a gulag. You spent a maximum of 10 years. That was the longest sentence you could get. When you stay there until you die, and then have people deliberately mistreat you, and then have people take your organs and possibly even experiment on you, that's called a concentration camp. These are concentration camps on the border, and they're being done, these medical procedures are being done against the will of women, and the children are being trafficked. It's very clearly that they are being trafficked. What they are being trafficked for is not known, but obviously the 1,300 children going missing have been taken and trafficked for one reason or another, and I believe that to be sex trafficking. So, what we have is a very blatant and clear crime against humanity, even though the detention camps were already a crime against humanity to begin with. And once again, because of the power of the right wing, because of the power of the capitalist state, absolutely nothing will be done about it. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.